Good morning. Today is the 14th of May. It is WGTV today. That's where we are here, and you know where you are, but here we are, Wayne Goldsboro Television. My name is Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Tuesday morning.
Oh boy, we're on our way to a great week. In fact, yesterday was a great day, and great day. Today's a great day. Great day.
Wayne's having a great day.
It's a great day.
I hope you are.
Why not? Great day in the morning. And then later on, it'll be a great day in the afternoon.
Yes, it will.
Anyway, let's see, who's on the show today?
Today we have an entire show all about Davin Madden and what's happening at the Wayne County Health Department.
You know, Davin Madden is really on top of his game. He is involved with so many things at the health department. He is the health director for Wayne County. But he also stays on top of what's going on in Raleigh with the proposals and changes and bills being offered to the state legislature of changes that would be made that would affect the health environment of the county and the state, in fact. So he's watching these bills and what they could do, what they may not do, and he tries to stay on top of that. That's what we're going to talk about today. He brings several of these bills to the studio. We're going to talk about them. He's going to explain them to you, and you will really be surprised at what is being proposed in our own state legislature.
And Wayne, can't we take advantage of this and actually try to make a difference?
We certainly can.
If you feel one way or the other about bills that he is going to be telling you about today, you can talk with your legislators.
You certainly can. In fact, that's why he's here. He's going to tell you what's being done, what's being proposed, and if you have a strong feeling about it, you can contact your legislator, the Wayne County representative and senators, and let them know how you feel about it.
That's exactly right.
Because that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
All of us are.
That's exactly right. And our representatives are there representing us. Think about that.
That's right.
So if you have a strong feeling about it, we do hope that you get involved and let your legislature and legislator know how you feel about these bills that are being presented. Some of them are kind of out there. Some of them are really kind of out there. And Davin, who is actually an employee of the county, but his most important role is the health and welfare of the county and the citizens. And he goes so far as to give his opinion about a couple of them. It's pretty interesting.
Well, and you listen and you make your own decisions on how you would like to react moving forward.
Exactly right. All right.
But that's today's show.
Yeah, the 14th of May, oh boy.
That's right. Well, today is Tuesday. In 2 more days, it is our very first Center Street Jam, Wayne.
You're kidding. Already? I thought we just had that last year.
No, well, we did last year, but we're starting them up again this year.
Oh,
Center
boy.
Street Jams. First one, May 16th, this Thursday. And it is being sponsored by R.A. Jeffries. And because it is, they are bringing in the Clydesdales. The famous Clydesdales will be here in Goldsboro on Center Street for you to see. They will be, of course, pulling their famous carriage or wagon. I guess it is more of a wagon. But come downtown Center Street on the 16th, this Thursday. The Band of Oz will be playing. There'll be all kinds of food and drink provided, and you can come downtown free of charge.
That's exactly right, and everybody loves the Clydesdale. They're just absolutely gorgeous animals, these big draft horses, and in fact, we talked about that, a little bit of history of the Clydesdales here a while back.
Exactly, we sure did. We gave the story of how they started and how they got so famous.
And how they got so famous, and I think it's still an 8-horse hitch that pulls this big wagon, and it's just, kids love them. Everybody loves the Clydesdales. They are fascinating
animals.
They really are.
But that's this Thursday, so mark your calendar.
All right, mark your calendar. Speaking of calendars, let's talk about who's having a birthday today.
Let's see. Who is it?
Are you?
Not my birthday.
Oh, okay.
No. Is it yours?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, whose is it?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mr. Facebook.
That's right.
The creator of Facebook.
That's right. Boy, is he a rich man.
Can you only imagine?
Woo. Anyway, he had some help doing that. It didn't just, appear out of nowhere in his brain. It actually started, and he didn't expect it to grow as big as it grew, but they knew they were onto something, so it was he and I think 2 other guys that were involved with it. And then he just kind of took it over, and the other guy said, okay, go away. Anyway, he's 28 years today.
Oh,
28.
he's so old.
George Lucas is having a birthday today. The movie director and franchise mastermind behind Star Wars is 68 years today. Kate Blanchett, the actress, is 43. She Back in '98, she starred in Elizabeth.
Oh, yes, that was a great movie.
Yeah, and she was in Lord of the Rings as well. One of my favorite entertainers was born this day a long time ago, Bobby Darin.
Yep.
Oh, the shark's bite. Anyway.
Wayne gets lost in his birthdays.
I just, Anyway, Mac the Knife, his biggest hit, Beyond the Sea was also a great song, and so many others. Danny Wood is having a birthday. He was one of the new kids on the block, and then he went solo back in 2000. He's 43 today. 43. He's not such a new kid anymore, is he? He's just an old kid.
43 is not old.
No.
But it's not a kid.
He's not a kid either. Fellow by the name of Jack Bruce. He was a bassist for the group Cream. If you know Cream, with Ginger Baker on drums and John Mayall and Frank Zappa. He also performed with John Mayall and Frank Zappa, but first came into prominence with the group Cream. Also a birthday today, he's 69 years today, for Deanne Bray. Deanne Bray, deaf actress who starred on Ion television series Sue Thomas, FBI.
How about that?
She's having a birthday. She's 41 today. All right.
Well, happy birthday if it is your special day.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
Let's see. Don't forget, today is Tuesday, but tomorrow is
Wednesday.
Well, yes, it is.
Oh.
Which means Farmers Market.
Oh, yeah.
Farmers Market, Herman
Oh.
Park Center. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
Go out and support your local farmers. Wayne always enjoys going to the farmers market.
Food, anything to do with food, I do. Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
You like it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to eat.
Is food?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope so.
Hey.
But don't forget, they're going to be open from 9 in the morning until late afternoon.
That's right.
They're on the Herman Street side of Herman Park. You'll see they have all the different foods available. They also have green plants, where, from your ferns to your seedlings. They have anything you can imagine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of goodies there. And last time I went, I think it was last Wednesday, they had jewelry for sale, they had baked goods, they had banana nut bread, and the list goes on and on of what's available at the farmers market. So
Oh,
support
boy.
your local growers and
That's
small
right.
businesses.
That's exactly right. I love the farmer's market. Yeah. I should have mentioned yesterday was a special day. Yesterday was the celebration of Frog Jumping Day. Was yesterday.
All righty then.
Today, the 14th day of the month.
We have something just as special?
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What might it be?
Today is National Chicken Dance Day. Yeah. It's also Stars and Stripes Forever Day. It's also Underground America Day, for whatever that is. But the important thing is that it's National Chicken Dance Day.
And that is so important.
It is. It really is.
If you don't know a chicken dance, you should learn one today.
It is. It really is.
Right, everyone?
Right, everyone.
Everybody agrees, Wayne.
I thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. Okay.
Want to remind you, Saturday, June 1st, the Partnership for Children is having a festival at Herman Park.
Oh, boy.
It's for young children. It's for birth to age 5. Free activities all day long from 10 to 2. Don't miss it. Take your child out there. There'll be all kinds of costume characters. Free rides on the Kiwanis train.
Oh, boy.
Pictures. You get your pictures made in the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, really? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Mystery Machine, the big van.
That's right.
All right.
All kinds of free refreshments and activities for families of young children
Ruh-roh.
on Saturday, June the 1st, Herman Park, 10 to 2. Mark it on your calendar.
Yes, do that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
Let's see. What else do we have here? We have
We have what?
Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Did you forget what day it was?
Oh, I forget what day it is all the time.
Well, that happens.
It does. It does. Okay.
I believe we're going to head on out to the interview of Davin Madden. We're
Yes.
going to hear what's happening
That's
in Wayne
what we-
County Health Department,
That's right.
so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Today is Health Director Davin Madden. Davin, thank you for being with us.
Always a pleasure, Wayne.
Thank you, sir. Always great to have you in the studio with us. First of all, Davin is the director, as I mentioned, of the Wayne County Health Department, which is an enormous department trying to keep everybody in Wayne County healthy.
Working on being well.
Working on being well. In order to do that, then of course we have to all adhere to certain rules and regs. And there are things you want to tell us about today, new legislation that is either about to happen or has already happened. What's going on?
It's a real snooze fest. I can go ahead and tell you.
A real snooze. Let me go get.
It's a snooze fest topic, but I think it'll be interesting.
Oh, okay.
And what I really want to do is talk a little bit about some legislation that's currently being entertained in the House and the Senate. Some new bills that have been introduced, and like we talked about before in one of our sessions, is public health has a lot of facets, not just immunizations or environmental health, but again, things like seatbelt use and other factors that tie into overall community impact.
Seatbelt use. Interesting that would fall under the health department.
Well, it doesn't fall under, it falls under public health.
Public health, okay.
Right.
I still think that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. As I said, so legislation can be a little boring, but I think there's a couple interesting bills out there that I thought we'd talk about.
Okay. All right, well, go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Fire away.
Well, one of the new legislations right now is House Bill 499, and it is to increase fines for texting while driving.
Oh.
Public health.
Okay.
Vehicle accidents are public health issues.
It is an issue. Texting while driving is not smart.
No, it's not. And we got this. We got a new behavior that people are developing now.
Yeah.
More people are texting than they are verbally communicating in some circles. This right here is how they communicate.
I know, I don't get that.
And some of them are doing that while they're driving. So my question is, who's driving?
Who's watching the road?
That's right. And you've seen a lot of the commercials from the insurance companies that talk about texting while driving and the dangers of it, and it's a big issue. And so one of the legislations out there that people may want to be interested in is there's going to be new fines tied in to texting while driving, so a little more punitive. To talk about how serious it is, because it's unfortunate, especially with our younger population that's using texting as one of their main modes of communication. They can't text and drive. No one really needs to do that, and people say they can do it, and you may get away with it, but accidents are caused by it, and people die from it.
People do die from it, and you're absolutely right. It's very, very dangerous to text and drive. I don't care how good you are, fast you are, how good a driver you are. You can't text and drive safely. You just can't do it.
That's right.
So this bill will help hit people where it probably hurts more than ever, in the wallet.
That's right. It brings more awareness to the seriousness of it.
Yeah, it's very serious.
It is. When people are dying because of something that's needless, new vehicles today now have the automated voice telephones in them where you don't have to use your phone in your hand. You can dial through your computer console. And so there's ways now, and I noticed that some of those vehicles won't even let you text while you're driving. It'll tell you that feature is inoperable while the vehicle's in motion. So see, there's safety features being put into place, but if you don't have that, you can still text and drive.
Yeah. There are features now being put into automobiles or being tested that park the car without using your hands. There are features being put into automobiles or being tested that are totally hands-off. The car is on autopilot. You can get on the highway and drive. The car will drive itself. Why can't the car be smart enough to disable a texting feature if you're trying to text someone?
And some of them do now. They actually will disable your ability to search your phone directory or text while you're driving.
It's good.
Because it shows these are the places, things being put in place that tries to prevent needless accidents. Yeah. I mean, you don't think about it when your friend hits you up with a new text and you're excited to see what they got to say.
Oh, LOL.
If it's an LOL or an OMG or whatever it may be. But the one thing you don't want is you don't want your child or your friend to be dead as a result of it, and you don't want someone else's life to be endangered because someone had to read LOL at that moment.
It only takes a split second.
That's right.
A split second for tragedy to strike. And it does. It strikes when people are trying to text and drive at the same time. You can't watch the road and text. You can't read and text at the same time. You just can't do it.
No, it's dangerous.
It is very dangerous. I've seen people reading the newspaper while driving. I have.
Well, yeah, that's even more dangerous.
Had a call from a guy, and one day he said, I don't know how to explain this to you, but in my previous job. He said, I just saw a guy going down I-40 with his knees on the steering wheel.
Doing the crossword puzzle.
No, he was playing the flute. Had his music on the steering wheel and was playing the flute.
Obviously,
I'm serious. A musician. And the guy I know the guy was telling me the truth.
Wow.
I know the guy calling. And people just...
Irresponsible behavior.
Irresponsible behavior. Now, if the guy had had an accident and died, you know, that's tragic. It would have been his fault. If he had had an accident and killed someone else...
Yes. No excuse for that.
No excuse.
Don't play the flute while you drive.
No, don't play the flute, read the newspaper, wash dishes or anything while you're driving.
Or do laundry.
Or do laundry or text.
That's
right. There you go.
Serious business.
All right. So what else?
Here's another interesting that I found for public health standpoint is House Bill 676, and this eliminates the Dietetics and Nutrition Board usage. And what that board does is certify nutritionists that provide information and health information on diet information for clients in healthcare settings.
Don't we need these people?
Do we need them certified? That's what this would do away with. This would do away with their certification.
I see.
So here's my thing: if one of the things we do is medical nutritional therapy. If you have a weight problem, underweight or overweight, you know, you can get counseling from a nutritionist, a licensed dietitian that has a science background, understands food, calorie intake, nutritional substance, and also knows the fact that they have evidence-based practices they go through on prescribing, you know, how to help you change your diet and eat healthy foods. We're always talking about eating healthy. So one thing out there I thought was interesting from a public health standpoint is why would we want to do away with a board that actually licenses these people?
I don't get that.
Because if you can practice without a license, that could get a little sketchy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions about food, about which ones are healthy and which ones aren't.
Yes.
And personally, I buy into the science-based stuff. You know, I want to see evidence. Now that sometimes that can be arguable, and I'll admit that. I mean, egg. What happened to the egg?
Hey,
it's been a good thing. It's been a bad thing.
Eggs are good.
That's right.
The whole thing about the cholesterol thing is not true.
That's right. I'm an egg. I'm pro egg.
Oh, so hey, all right.
I'm pro egg.
Pro egg here.
But see that. So I mean, that does sometimes diminish the faith that the community has in science. When they say, well, the egg's good this week and the egg's bad next week, and so on. But still, if you're getting nutritional information for medical purposes, I would want that person certified. We license people to do these things.
Yes.
And I understand that, you know, sometimes having too many boards and things like that in place can make the overall governance of these things a little bulky. But yeah, I think we need to pick and choose, you know, what gets eliminated, and that's one that definitely was a concern of mine, and thought it was just interesting to bring it up.
If these people are not certified, that means anybody could do it.
There you go.
You could go to anybody and legally get that information.
That's right.
And if that information is not accurate, then
that has created
problems.
Who
do you turn to?
It has created problems with people that did not get evidence-based counseling on their dietary needs. You don't want to, if you're a diabetic, you don't want to come to me if I have no science background, but let's just say I know a little bit about nutrition. And if you get information on your proper dieting or your proper diet to help regulate your blood sugar, that could be risky because you could go into a coma and die if you eat something that is inappropriate for your diabetes. So again, this is public health issues. You don't want to see people having a false sense of security on dietary guidance. So that's something that's interesting to see about a legislation like that.
So we're taking away the accountability. We have to. Don't you feel that we have to have people who are accountable?
Well, we're taking away, I think, the screening to have someone take a test or to examine their credentials and give them that little stamp. Sometimes you see a lot of letters behind names, and who cares sometimes, but sometimes it's important. And this is one time where I definitely would, you know, dietary information can be very important to certain medical conditions.
Okay. So we don't like this bill.
Well, my point here today is to bring some awareness.
You're not going to say one way or the other, are you?
Well, I'm going to bring awareness to it because I mean, there's always arguments on both sides.
Okay.
And I'm not going to dismiss arguments on either side. You know, and we can debate it and discuss it. But I think the better thing to do is let people. The people that propose these bills are our legislators, and they are following advice and counsel from their constituents. And so I think that, you know, being in the public, you should know what's out there and what's going before the assembly. And it's always interesting to see what kind of bills are being proposed and how they impact your public health.
True. Okay, let me say this. I don't like this bill. All right, I think this will do more harm. That's my opinion now. This would do more harm than good.
So could be interesting.
The way it sounds as it's proposed, I'm not sure why anyone would want to take away certifying people who are supposed to be out there.
Well, like
just
I said,
doing the right thing.
You're right. I mean, there's a lot of questions in this right here.
Okay.
So here's
what bill is that again? Which one?
This is House Bill 676, Eliminate Dietetics and Nutrition Board, which does the certification of nutrition.
All right. 676. All right, go ahead.
Now here's a controversial one. I'm getting ready to talk about one that's going to be real controversial.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
This is House Bill 693 and Senate Bill 675, and this is the eliminating the exceptions and medical treatment consent of minors. Currently, minors can come in and get certain types of medical treatment. They can be treated for communicable disease, STDs, venereal diseases, get immunizations, and so on, birth control methods without parental consent.
Without parental consent.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, this bill would eliminate that. It would now require that minors that would have to be treated for venereal disease or STD, get certain immunizations or birth control to have parental consent. Very hot topic.
I can see that.
Very emotionally charged topic because
I can see that.
There are very good arguments on both sides of the fence on this one of why this bill needs to be passed as law and why our current form of legislation should remain in place. And it gets into touchy subjects because, first of all, I'm a parent. So I have to ask myself when I evaluate this kind of legislation is, would I want my she's got a few years to go, but would I want my 14-year-old daughter to go and get medical treatment without my consent? It's a tough subject for a father. Okay,
playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Let's say the child does need medical help. There's an STD involved. The child has a choice of if the law stays as it is now, the child has the choice of not going to seek medical help or going to seek medical help without the parents' consent.
Yes.
And they would, I would think,
confidentiality.
Yeah, exactly. And I would think they'd be more likely to do that without telling their parents they've got to go to the doctor.
Well, see, that's the other argument, because the question is, if you put this legislation into place and it becomes law, children that need consent to go get treated for something they may have been exposed to, we won't get into all the behavioral arguments about it because there's a lot of discussion on that too.
I'm sure.
But if they do, would this create a barrier for children to go get treatment, and would it push them further into the dark of getting necessary treatment to protect their lives, to help them? I mean, some diseases, immunizations can the lack of an immunization or the contraction of a STD can be lethal.
Yeah.
So I mean, would it prevent them from getting treatment if they thought they had to first go tell their mother or father? I mean, it could be lethal if they do go tell their mother and father.
It could, yeah. Yes.
And I mean that jokingly.
I know you do.
But that's why this is a very controversial topic, because this piece of legislation here is what, there's good arguments on both sides. Parents, these are parents' children. So I feel that, parents do have a right to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
I'm on that side.
I'm on that
However,
train too.
being also in the medical care field, I also know that sometimes requiring certain permissions can restrict people from getting care, and they may choose not to get care. And then things could escalate, they get worse, or people could die from it.
Well, it's
a tough one.
Once upon a time, I was young, and I can't say that I ever made a good decision in my life, and fortunately, I never was faced with that decision. But I can't imagine
you
the
can
14.
Tell the truth way.
Well, okay, I was really not bright at all. But I can't imagine, especially nowadays when it's really tough on an adolescent living at home or living anywhere for that matter. It's tough on an adolescent in some cases to approach their parents and say, "Look, I have an STD." You know what? I can't. Some of them would just totally avoid doing that.
Yeah, because you have to look at the family structure that we're pushing so hard for, and this is a public health matter too. Is a good family structure. I mean, there's a lot of single parent families. A child may not have a mother figure, or they may not have a father figure. Yeah. There's a lot of single parent families, and a lot of times those single parents are working, and they're trying to make ends meet. And so sometimes that relationship, that bond with their children, is not as strong as it could be or once was. And so that's where the challenge is because we know from our teenage pregnancy rates, which are still high in Wayne County, that teenagers are engaging in sexual activity. You know, we at the health department talk about all the methods for trying to prevent unintended or unwanted pregnancy, such as abstinence. We have our abstinence essay that, you know, was just talked about just recently.
I was going to mention that.
We have, you know, birth control methods we talk about, and so on. But the challenge here is if they now have to have parental consent to get birth control, will that result in what some of the things we saw before, where teenagers are getting pregnant, not telling anybody, and then trying to hide it until delivery, until term? That's not good for the mother.
No.
That's not good for the baby.
No.
So these are things. That's why I said this is a tough topic to talk about as far as legislation, because where are the rights of parents? Where are the rights of the minor? Where are the rights of the legislators to change the legislation for this? Well, we know what their rights are. That was not what I meant to say. Where are the rights of people fall in this legislation? And there are extremely good arguments on both sides. And it's not an easy area. It's a gray area.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it's people's health, but it's also people deserve to be aware of what's going on. So I don't know. I mean, it's really going to be a tough thing to see. Right now, I mean, the current legislation seems to be working fairly well, because, I mean, medical providers get an opportunity to treat minors for these diseases or with birth control or immunizations without the consent, so they're getting care if they need it.
Well, at the same time, there's the argument that if medical care is available to the child without the parent's knowledge, then the child could take advantage of that situation and be more involved with sexual activity.
That's right.
So there's arguments to both sides.
So you see where I'm coming from.
Oh, I know where you're coming from.
It's a tough one.
It is tough.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
And but I want people to be aware that legislation is out there, and it definitely will have an impact on, depending on what happens with that legislation.
Yeah.
It'll have an impact.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
What else do we have here? And you said this would be boring. This is not boring. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's next?
Well, here's another interesting one. This is called this is House Bill 730, and this is called Healthcare Conscious Protection Act. And this is what this one is to basically remove any type of penalty or action taken against a healthcare provider if they choose not to provide abortions as one of their treatments to unintended or unwanted pregnancy. See, currently it's a person's choice. It's the woman's right to choose. However, if I was a provider and you came in and as a pregnant lady, and abortion was one of your options and that's something you wanted to pursue, I had to give you the option of that. But in this legislation, this will actually allow for healthcare providers to refuse that as an option and not be at risk for any type of, I think the word recriminatory action.
I remember a couple of years ago, a case came up regarding that. There was a nurse who absolutely refused to perform an abortion or be in a hospital room where abortion was being performed. And I think that opened all kinds of cans of worms.
It does. So these are another hot topic.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people are passionate about these things because this has bearing on people's moral views.
Yes.
This has bearing on people's religious views.
Yes.
This has bearing on people's human rights views. I mean, all this stuff ties in together, from individual morality to human rights arguments. And again, it's an interesting time because we're re-examining some of the legislation. We're taking what we already had in place, such as not being able to refuse that as an option, to now saying you can refuse it if you don't agree with it.
Right.
If you don't think this is appropriate treatment to an unintended or unwanted pregnancy, but you think that abortion is not morally correct or whatever, then you can opt out of this without fear of reprisal from the patient.
Well, I have very strong opinions about this, and I think that's probably, in my opinion, that's a good bill.
Interesting.
In my opinion. All right.
Well, healthcare providers get put in a lot of tough situations.
I know they do.
Because, you know, it's like we talked about before about what public health is or what patient care is and the patient's rights. But, you know, we all have beliefs and we all have opinions, and they're strong in people. And, you know, there's been wars fought over the very simple principle of just what we believe.
Yes.
And so, you know, I think it is tough to ask a provider who may be working for another provider, you know, working for a health care agency, to do something that they really morally object to or don't feel comfortable. So it's interesting.
It is tough.
More tough stuff.
I'm glad I'm not a public servant. I'll tell you what, man, nobody'd vote for me anyway. But, you know, I'd hate to have to make a decision about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's
but
tough.
It's good people know about this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they believe in it, they can support it. If they don't believe in it, they have a right to pursue an objection to it. That's what's great about the United States of America.
That is exactly right.
If we don't like something, we can voice our opinion about it, and we can talk to our legislators about it. If we like something, we can do the exact same thing. We can advocate for it, and we can support it.
Exactly.
Let our voice be heard.
Hey, let our voice be heard. Should we break into song now? No, but
you sing, I'll clap.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. You're absolutely right. This is a republic, a constitutional republic, and it's up to you to tell your legislator how you feel about these opinions, your opinion about this legislation.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. So if you don't know who your legislator is, you're in trouble right off the bat.
You can go to ncleg.com.
That's right.
And you can look up who your representatives, your House representatives, and your senators for Wayne County or for any county that you live in.
That's right, for any county. And that's ncleg.com. Is it .com or is it .gov?
It might be .gov.
ncleg.gov, yeah.
We'll look it up.
We'll look it up. If it's not one, it is the other.
We'll put it on the screen.
I don't know about that. Okay, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
If you missed it, you went to get a snack.
You blinked. Okay. All right, what do we have next?
All right, here's another one. This is House Bill 792 to allow human consumption of raw milk.
Raw milk.
Raw milk.
Right out of the cow.
We're getting away from all the years of pasteurization, and we're going back.
Well, I've been there.
Pasteur.
I've been there. You know,
we're going back to raw milk.
Well, when I was a youngster, you know, everybody's grandparents had a farm, or where I came from, they did, and they all had a cow, and you milked the cow, and you drank the milk. It was really thick, really heavy, and you couldn't drink but so much of it. But what's behind this raw milk legislation?
Well, why is it being introduced? Well, I think that some people believe that raw milk is a healthier raw product, and they want to feel like they can sell raw milk to people. So if a law says that you can now drink raw milk, you can sell raw milk. But isn't there the danger of the little microbes and such? And yes. I mean, if you don't pasteurize the milk. Like I told you, I have personal opinions on all this legislation. Yeah. But that's not my job to share my personal opinions with everything. Sometimes because, like I said, I have to juggle between, my personal codes versus what I know is in the best interest of public health. But this is, I can tell you right now, I do not believe it's in the best interest of public health. I pulled up some statistics just to see, and from 1998 to 2011, of all the outbreaks, illness outbreaks associated with dairy products, 79% of them were tied to raw product ingestion. Say that again. From 1998 to 2011, 14 all of the illness outbreaks associated with dairy products were tied, 79% were tied specifically to consumption of raw product. Almost 8 out of 10. That's right. Almost 80%. Raw milk. Well, raw milk, raw cheese. Raw unpasteurized, untreated cheese. All right. This is dangerous. That's resulted in almost 2,400 illnesses, 300 hospitalizations, and 2 deaths. Wow. Because there is a lot of challenges with raw milk. I mean, raw milk in and of itself coming out of the cow is safe for the most part. Right. But it's the contact surface of the cow, the udder and so on. I mean, you got to be careful about the cleanliness of it. Sure you do. I mean, if you got a cow somewhere, there's fecal matter. Right. And that can be dangerous. I mean, that's what happened to, with the hamburger before with the fecal contamination of E. coli. Remember the E. coli Jack in the Box incident?
Oh, yes, yes.
That was hit a lot of media.
Yeah.
And people remember it today, and it's been over, almost 2 decades.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
And people still remember that one particular incident because a young child died from the ingestion of raw hamburger meat that was contaminated with E. coli. Raw milk can get contaminated with E. coli, salmonella, listeria, and campylobacter. And these can all be very powerful illnesses. I mean, these can be lethal and sick to people. So it's interesting legislation. And I think personally on this one, I do have an opinion that I'm not really in favor of going back to pushing raw milk because there's a lot of safety and sanitation issues that are not covered, and so you don't want to see people buying raw milk and having a lot of outbreaks of contaminated milk.
Right.
Look at the food security and overview that we have now with a lot of our vegetables, and we're still having outbreaks with peanut butter,
With
spinach, tomatoes,
lettuce.
This is all raw product.
That's right.
It's raw product.
And it's washed.
That's where
supposedly.
that's where a lot of our outbreaks you're seeing right now with all of our technology and food science.
Yeah.
And we're bringing in from other countries. We're importing a lot of foods, and processing and the checks and balances they have, control measures they have in place. But we're still seeing some outbreaks with salmonella and E. coli, and it's tied to raw product.
Dangerous.
So it's. And these are raw products that have been exposed a lot of times to fecal matter or so on, and this is what this could do. It could be a little step backwards, in my opinion, in health.
All right.
The
now,
CDC doesn't support it either, and they'll say
they do not.
Even though raw products are normally considered to be more nutritious for most people, that is not the case in milk.
Okay. Now these are out of Washington.
No, this is state.
This is North Carolina.
This is North Carolina.
North Carolina?
This is North Carolina. That's right. This is North Carolina.
Call your legislator. Okay.
This is North Carolina legislation.
We do not want raw milk. All right.
Well, now that I threw out a couple that were heavy topics and some that were controversial, I'm going to throw out one that I think this is one I can say I'm very supportive of.
Oh, okay.
Because I've already voiced this among groups I've spoken to. And this is House Bill 803.
803.
And it's called Healthy and High Performance Schools Act. This bill will actually incentivize schools for converting over to healthier meals, healthier lunch menus. This will eliminate schools having to do a certain amount of cost sharing if they adopt healthy menus. This bill will also promote the use of local foods in school cafeterias.
What?
This bill will also encourage and strengthen breakfast being served at school.
Wait a minute.
This bill will also push to increase physical activity in schools.
Stop the music. Wait a minute. Why aren't we doing this already? I mean, why don't we have the healthiest foods we can have for our children who eat lunch at school? Why don't we have that? Why don't we have healthy breakfast?
Because individual school districts a lot of times get to, within a certain confines of the Department of Public Instruction. They're pretty much a free say in a lot of how they structure their menus. I mean, they have to meet certain nutritional guidelines.
Okay.
But they have to meet certain nutritional guidelines, and they have certain rules and regulations that they have to follow to adhere to certain amounts of physical activity. But let's talk about high school, 9th grade, right?
Right.
PE.
Yeah.
You take it, right? But outside of that, from 10th, 11th, and 12th, you're not required to do any type of physical activity.
No, that's all changed, though. I mean, back when I was in school, back in the late 1800s, they required all we only had 11 grades. They required all the high schoolers to take PE.
Yeah, but it's in the 9th grade.
Right.
What about 10th, 11th, and 12th? For 3 years, what if you're not in any kind of physical activity program? Sports are all extracurricular activities. There's no requirements for that.
Okay.
So this, and we know we're more sedentary. Our lifestyles have been designed to be more convenient for us to be more sedentary.
Yeah.
And and that's just part of technology. I mean, we're not going to fight technology, we're not going to fight our advancements in the fact that we have computers at our fingertips and we don't have to get up and change the channel on the TV. All those things are nice conveniences that I wouldn't take away. But it also encourages.
I'm glad to hear that.
It also encourages us to get active, and it starts with our youth. You gotta set in our children the value of healthy eating and active living. If we're looking at breaking these cyclic trends of obesity and poor health in certain populations or certain groups, or in America right now today.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how we start some of that, and I won't get on my tirade about why we need to do that.
If you won't get on yours, I won't get on mine either.
Well, you can get on yours. It's your show.
Well, no, I was just going to say, where do we point fingers? We don't want to point fingers, but it's the parents. Did I say that? I mean, what I meant to say.
No, it's not the parents just by themselves.
I know that. I know.
But I mean, it's everybody. You know, one time I told somebody it takes a village. You know, we forgot that saying about it takes a village to raise a child.
I didn't forget it.
And somebody laughed at me and said, "Boy, that's antiquated thinking." But
I don't believe it, but I didn't forget it.
well, no, I do believe it. I believe that as we talked about this before, it's the structure that we're in. It's our parents. I mean, we talked about that. Remember, you made a comment about, well, you know, it's okay if the parents don't exercise as long as they make their kids exercise. Remember that?
Look, don't take that seriously.
I know that. I know that.
Okay.
But remember, my response to that was that they mimic what they see.
That's exactly right.
And children access the foods that they have access to.
Yeah.
And they participate in the extracurricular activities that they have access to or they see.
Right.
So that's the point of this, is to start getting it back into the school system. Because you know, we rack our brains, where do we make these changes? Well, you can say, well, it's got to change at home. But a young child spends 8 hours or more of their day in the school system.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to make that contact there. Educating them, but also educating them about wellness and healthy lifestyle. It's more and more critical, especially if it's not occurring at home, then what do you do? There's got to be a mechanism, and that's a perfect place to introduce it. Mm-hmm. And this legislation will do that. It will incentivize schools for adopting these policies, making these changes, and I am very supportive of it.
Okay.
That's House Bill 803.
House Bill 803. Call your legislator and tell them you support it. ncleg.gov. Call today.
All right.
All right.
Just a couple more.
Just a couple more.
Well, just one more, actually. I've already covered that one.
Oh, okay.
The last one is Senate Bill 530.
Okay.
Prohibit e-cigarette sales to minors.
To minors?
Yes.
Minors can't buy cigarettes at all.
Well, this is not cigarettes. This is electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes.
Whoa, a cigarette by any other name.
This is the electronic cigarette, you know, this the metal canister that lights up at the end, and it's called vaping. That's the term they use, vaping.
Vaping.
Yes.
It's a cigarette.
It's not a cigarette. It's an electronic cigarette, and it has a liquid in there that has nicotine in it. And as it vaporizes from heat, then you get to puff on it, and it doesn't emit smoke, but it does emit some toxic chemicals. Studies have shown that the secondhand discharge of these electronic cigarettes emit a measurable amount of toxins.
There you go.
Now, it's much smaller than a standard cigarette, but it's there, it's present. And here's my question. Like you said, why would we allow minors to buy this?
Exactly.
Because the product inside the metal container is derived from tobacco. It's nicotine, it's derived from tobacco products. We've worked hard to reduce smoking rates in teenagers.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I don't have Wayne County statistics, but I know that last year, last year's statistics for North Carolina, statewide, said that about 15% of high school students smoke cigarettes.
15%.
And that's come down. It was like 16%, so it's dropped some. And this is wonderful, but that was because look at all of the effort put in by our tobacco control branch and health departments and healthy living groups and health active community activists and community involvement to reduce cigarette smoking in teenagers. It's a problem. It's a problem. Middle schoolers, 4% of middle schoolers smoke cigarettes.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Kids? Little?
Yeah, middle school. I don't know what they are. They're somewhere here and there.
They're in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're somewhere in here. But they're smoking cigarettes. If they keep smoking cigarettes, they'll be further here.
Right. If they keep smoking, they'll never get here.
That's right.
All right.
And so this is a good legislation too, because it goes back to when 2009, when the incense was being the spice was being purchased by teenagers at tobacco specialty shops and convenience stores and stuff, and they were taking it and going home and smoking it. And it was called a synthetic cannabinoid.
Now we're not talking about spice or spices like herbs.
Like cooking spices.
No, we're not talking about that.
No, Spice was a name brand.
Spice.
There were multiple name brands,
Exactly.
but Spice was the one that got the most media publicity.
Right.
But what this is a synthetic cannabinoid.
A cannabinoid. Cannabinoid.
That's
as
like,
in marijuana.
There you go.
There you
and
go.
what this was it was coming from other countries outside the United States, and it could have been anything. It could have been ragweed. It could have been oregano. But they took dried plant product and they would spray it with a synthetic cannabinoid. This chemical. There was no regulations on the concentration. Some of it was weak. Some of it was very strong. And children were buying these packs in the store for like $7.50 for a 3-ounce or whatever it was little pack, and smoking it. And this stuff is like this. You don't know what other chemicals are involved in this dosing of this thing. You don't know what type of pesticides might have been sprayed on that weed before they put it. This was extremely deadly. Good legislation came out and said no more. We won't sell this stuff.
Good.
And so see, that's what good legislation does. It prevents our children from getting exposed, because we know children don't always make the best decisions.
Really?
That's right. So we don't want them to have access to buy synthetic cannabinoids when we already it's illegal to buy marijuana.
I can only feel or think that the e-cigarettes are not illegal or are being bought by children because there's no law against it.
Well, this, like I said, this is a bill to be entitled an act to prohibit the distribution of tobacco-derived products and vapor products to minors.
Well, first of all,
because it was really about the language. It was a semantics thing.
Exactly.
You couldn't sell tobacco products, but you could sell tobacco-derived products to children.
Oh, for crying
because
out loud.
one was considered to be not the other. But now this legislation makes it clear that a tobacco-derived product is just as much a tobacco product in this kind of sense, where minors are being allowed to purchase it and being exposed to the harmful effects.
Okay, I hope this
makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Hope this works.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I thought it was some interesting. I told you it'd be a snooze fest.
No, this was good. This was good stuff. A lot of controversy. Some are lightweight. Some are heavyweights. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Again, go to ncleg.gov and find out who your legislator is. And this is all North Carolina. These are North Carolina proposals.
This is
bills.
Correct.
All right. Our guest today has been Davin Madden. And Davin, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this. Davin is the health director of the Wayne County Health Department. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Okay, we're back on WGTV today. Who are some of your favorite authors?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
One or two.
One or two. Well, let's see. I used to like, I don't know.
Did you ever read any
Nancy Drew.
Mark Twain, any Mark Twain, anything like that?
Only
that's
in
more
school.
of a guy.
Yeah, that's a guy thing.
That's
Only
a
in
guy
school
thing,
when I had to.
Yeah. But you read Nancy Drew and all that?
Oh, every one of them.
Really?
Every one. I was fascinated by it.
I guess that.
I like the mystery.
Yeah.
I like to try to figure it out. Still to this day, when I go to a movie or if I'm reading a book, I like to try to figure out what's going to happen and then see if I'm right.
Ooh.
And I like to be right.
You like mysteries then?
Love them.
You like to be right?
I like to be right. Imagine
Okay.
that. But I really do. I like to try to figure out what I think the twists and the turns are that they're going to make, whether it's in a movie or a book.
Well, I was going to be talking about books and such, but that makes me want to ask, what would be your favorite TV kind of program? I would think that if you like mysteries and
Well, I
books,
like CSI Miami and all of those type where you're trying to figure out. Well, they change every week. It seems
Yeah.
like they have a new program on where you're trying to figure out the ending. But I like Castle.
yeah.
They're always trying to figure out, what happened during that particular day. So it's
there's
one of
a
those
lot
type things.
A lot of new programs like that on TV.
Yes,
now.
there are,
Some
quite
of them
a
are
few.
good, and some of them aren't.
So true. So true. If you've not seen Castle, you need to check it out.
Yeah, Castle's good. NCIS is all. That's
Yes,
one of the leading
that
shows.
is. It
yeah.
is. And I like that one, but I don't love it, and I'm not sure why. I think it's the characters.
Really?
Yes.
NCIS? Really?
They just don't interest me that much. Sorry.
Really?
NCIS, but
No,
they just don't.
I can't hear you.
They can't hear me? Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay. I like that show. I like CSI as well. Miami and LA.
Well, the funny thing about the CSI Miami is when I was in college at East Carolina, one of my friends was Emily Proctor. Emily Proctor and I were sorority sisters together at East Carolina, and Emily Proctor went on to be, she is one of the lead roles. She's the long, blonde-haired girl in CSI Miami.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating when you know somebody that's in one of the shows because you're more interested in watching because you know them personally. So it makes it kind of interesting
she's
for
good.
me.
She's
from Raleigh.
Yeah. Is she?
Yes, she went to school at Ravenscroft right there in Raleigh and graduated and then went to East Carolina, and that's where we became friends.
Well, I was wondering where she picked up that cute little accent she got.
Raleigh, Durham.
There you go. Yeah.
Born and raised.
How about that? All right.
Just a fact.
I
Just
like
a little
her.
interesting trivia fact.
Well, getting back to the book thing here.
Yes.
Mark Twain. Everyone knows the name Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens. Mark Twain was his name, and he picked that name up when he worked on a riverboat on the Mississippi River. Mark Twain. They used to the man at the bow of the riverboat would yell back to the captain, "Mark Twain." It meant that they only had 12 feet of water left, because the Twain was like 6 feet.
Okay.
Near the choo-choo twain shall meet. Anyway, the trivia question for today
we'll finally get to that.
is, of course, everyone knows Huckleberry Finn.
Yes, we all do. Most of us have read it.
How old was Huckleberry Finn?
How old was he?
How old was he?
I don't know. I'm 12.
It's only mentioned one time, I think, in the book.
Okay.
But he had an age.
Okay.
And the question for today is, what was his age?
It was not 12.
It was not 12. I'll tell you in a few minutes.
All right, great.
All right.
Well, we'll find out soon.
Not too many minutes.
All right. What else is happening?
Well, we mentioned that today is National Chicken Dance Day, and that's just exciting to me.
Wayne is excited about the chickens dancing.
Well,
Show me a chicken dance, Wayne.
No, I'm not going to do that. No.
Me either.
Look, I barely look.
Could at least do a chicken chair dance.
Chicken chair dance?
Chicken chair.
Chicken chair dance.
You guys are too funny.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We live in a poultry community.
Yes, we do.
All right? And I love poultry. So that's why I mentioned that. National Chicken Dance Day.
There you go.
We should have a contest.
A chicken dance contest? And see who can do the best one? Not us, but other people.
Well, no, not us.
No.
But, like, up to like
We'll be the judges.
6 or 8 years of age.
That would be cute. Make up your own chicken dance.
Why don't we do that?
And come on the show.
Or they could just film it.
We may do that.
We may do
Yeah.
that. You don't ever know
You
what we
don't-
may do.
That's right. And believe me, this just all came up just right now. So we'll see how that goes, okay? The answer to today's trivia question,
How old was Mark Twain?
he was an even...
Huckleberry Finn.
How
Sorry.
old was...
Let's get it right.
Mark Twain was 76 when he died
What?
in 1810. That's right.
That's right. What?
1910, I mean.
Okay.
He died when Halley's Comet came through,
Okay.
and he died when Halley's Comet came back. 76 years.
No, he was born and he died.
He was born and he died. Get it right, Wayne. He was born when it came through and he died when it...
Yeah, that's it. That's
A lot
it.
of dying going on.
Huckleberry Finn was 13.
My gosh, we finally got the answer. He was 13 years old.
13.
I said 12.
You did. You were
That
close.
was close.
You're very close. Very good.
12 at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, the beginning of the book he was 12 and by the end he was 13, right?
Actually, he was 12 at the beginning of the book, and by the time we finished talking about it,
He's
he was an old
45.
man. Yeah.
He was Mark Twain.
He was
Too
Mark
funny.
Twain's age, yeah.
All right, my
Oh
goodness.
boy, oh boy, we're having too much fun
We've
here.
just been on a roll today.
We got to stop that.
Yes, we
so
do.
we'll do this and start up this whatever this is again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So if you will, please join us at that time. Until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.